Hi, I'm Liz with Liz's Crafts, and today I will be bringing you what I call a light, questionable, but here goes. So I have this plaque here, and I believe I got it from the Dollar Tree, and I'm going to paint it with my acrylic black paint from Apple Barrel. And I'm going to paint the top, the bottom, and the sides, so the whole thing. I'm just going to use this wider brush, so it'll make quick work of it. And here it is all painted. Now what I have are 6 of these rolls, and these came from vinyl. So they're really thick. They're not like paper towel rolls. These are extremely thick. And I'm going to paint each one of these with the black acrylic paint. Just using the same brush that I used for the plaque. And I am painting the ends of it a little bit there. And here they are all finished. So we have 6 of these tubes. And now I'm going to put the second coat of black paint on with my dauber. And this just gives it a little bit of texture. I like the look of it when you pounce it up and down. And there they're all finished. So they all have 2 coats of paint. And now I'm going to do the same thing with the plaque. I'm only going to do the, I think the top of the plaque. Yes, that's correct. I only do the top of the plaque with the dauber. And then again, I'm just pouncing up and down. It gives it a little bit of texture. And I like the way that looks. And here they are all finished. And now we're just going to glue these tubes together. So I'm just using my hot glue gun. Once I put another glue stick in there. My husband got me this glue gun from Lowe's, I think it was. I find it a little difficult to operate, but it is cordless and rechargeable, which comes in handy. So I'm just going to put 2 of these tubes together side by side, and you want to make sure they're even at the top and the bottom. Now I didn't get mine as straight. Oh, okay, it's all right. No, okay, you're right. I'm right. I didn't get mine as straight as I wanted it to be, so I did take it apart a little bit and re-glue it. It was kind of, they weren't exactly flat to the table. One was up a little higher, so I needed to fix that. So once I have that fixed, then I am going to put one in the center. Yep. So you want to make sure you get your glue in the correct place. So you don't want it down in a crack, and you don't want it in the center of your other tubes. Excuse me. So you want it down towards the middle a little bit of the two tubes, as you can see me doing right here. So you want it where the top tube meets the bottom two tubes. And then you want to make sure your top and bottom are even with each other. And you're going to do the same thing with the other three tubes. Again, making sure your tops and your bottoms are even. And if you're doing this and using hot glue, you do want to use the hot or high setting on your glue, not the low setting, because otherwise your glue is going to dry before you get your roll on. You're going to have lots of glue strings. And now you're just going to take both of these that you did and you're going to put them together. And when you put your glue on this time, you're going to put it in the center of each of the rolls, because that's where the four rolls meet up. And again, when you do this, make sure your tops and your bottoms are even. And I'm just sitting it there on the plaque to see how it's going to look. Now what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my drill and I'm going to drill holes in my tubes. And the number of holes just depends on what you prefer. So I just start drilling holes. Like I said, this cardboard is really thick. And these are the rolls that you get from vinyl. Like if you buy your vinyl from Hobby Lobby or wherever that has the tubes, very thick tubes from vinyl. And I just kept them because I knew there was something I was going to make with them eventually. Right? We can't throw anything away. So you can put as few or as many holes in your tubes as you want. I mean, I guess you don't want to go overboard so much that your tube falls apart. So you do want to keep that in mind. And as you can see, it's pretty easy to drill the holes in. And I do drill holes in all of the tubes. Now it does kind of knock loose some of your tubing from the inside, but it's okay. It'll still work for our purposes. That one, the drill slipped, but we'll go back over that with some spray paint. Okay, so here it is with all the holes drilled, and I'm just taking a little sanding tool there, and I'm just sanding down all the holes because they do kind of make a mess. And if some of your paint comes off, that's okay. We are going to spray paint it. So we have it all sanded down, and now I'm going to take this, not sure, it's a file, and it's a round file, and I'm just going in each hole. Now this is time consuming, but you really do need to do this as it takes out a lot of the cardboard that gets stuck in the holes. And you want your holes to be open so you can see the light coming through. So I go through each hole, sanding it down a little bit with my file. So once that's all done, I'm going to take this outside and I'm going to spray paint it with my flat black paint. And while that's drying, I'm going to take my gold Deco Art paint and I'm going to go around the edge of the plaque. So just the outer edge there. I'm not doing on top or underneath or anything, just the outer edge. And here is our tubes all spray painted with the flat black spray paint. And I have my gold Deco Art paint again. Excuse me for that. And I'm just taking my dauber, putting a little bit of the gold paint on, and then I am highlighting each of the holes with a dauber. So I'm just daubing the paint onto each hole. And you want to make sure you don't have excess paint on your dauber. And I just do this to each of the holes on each of the tubes. Now, once I get all that done, I'm going to place my lights on the inside of the tubes, and these are fairy lights, excuse me, that I got off of Amazon, and we're going to use 6 of them, one for each tube. And then I'm just using this dowel rod to push the lights down inside the tube. Because you want the whole tube to have lights. And it's cheaper to get these lights off Amazon than it is to get it at the Dollar Tree. And the ones at the Dollar Tree, you got to put batteries in, and these already come with the batteries. And plus, the battery pack is a lot smaller. You can just glue it on the inside of your tubes there. So I find that these lights are more efficient, money saving, and all that versus the Dollar Tree. So I want to make sure that my lights are all the way down the tube. And then I'm going to hot glue my battery pack onto the tube itself on the inside. And you want to make sure the part with the screws is not the part that you glue down. So you want to glue it down far enough in the tube so it's not poking out of the tube, but not so far that you can't reach inside and turn the lights on and off. So there's the plaque that we're going to put everything on. And I noticed when I turned my tubes upside down there that some of the lights weren't all the way to the bottom of the tube. So I'm just taking my dowel rod there and bringing them down. And I also use my finger. If they're down far enough, I can pull them down with my finger. And evidently this glue dried a little bit too quickly and excuse me, wasn't stuck to the tube very well. So I'm just pushing down the lights more into the tube again. And then here I put my finger in there and I'm pulling some of the lights out a little bit, you know, bringing them down so they're all the way through the tube. There was one that was up in there pretty far, so I had to finagle with it a little bit to get it to come down a bit. So I get them all to where I need them to be, and now I'm just going to hot glue around each of the tube bottoms so that I can glue it onto the plaque. Of course, by the time you get to the sixth tube, your first tubes are already dry, so you need to put a little bit more glue on them. Maybe there's a better glue to use for this. Maybe use some wood glue and hot glue, maybe. But mine stuck pretty well. I didn't have any problems with it. I have it sitting on my table and I turn it on at night. And I did fail to mention, I did spray paint down in the top of the tubes there a little bit. So there it is with the lights off and the lights in the tubes on. This is what it looks like so far. You could leave it like this, but I wanted to fancy mine up a little bit and So I have this gold trim that came from Walmart years ago. So I'm going to add that to the bottom. And this is the back of the piece. So start in the back and just start adding your trim to it. And it's a pretty gold trim and has sequins on it. So I'm just hot gluing it around the bottom of the tubes there. You just want to do a little bit at a time so your glue doesn't dry. You want to make sure you get it in the cracks there between the tubes. And this was just the perfect trim for this project. I didn't plan it to be this way, but it turned out perfectly, which made me happy. Happy, happy, happy. Now I thought we needed to add some of this also to the top to make it pretty. So that's what I'm going to do next. And you want to start in the back, like you did with the other one at the bottom. So I'm just hot gluing it to the edge. Now I did, however, see another crafter on YouTube take a paper towel roll, you know, one of these tubes, and make a light out of it. And she did poke holes in the tube, and she did take the paint and go over the holes. But she only did one tube, and I can't find that video, or I would link it in the description box. If you know who it is and what video it is, let me know. Because I just remember watching it and I was like, oh, this is a good idea. And then I did mine with the 6 tubes and with the vinyl tubes, which are, like I said before, heavy tubes. Which I felt like would hold up a lot better for a light than a paper towel tube. But you know, those are pretty thin. And I'm sorry I can't find that video, or I would link it and put it in my description box. But you know, when we watch a ton of videos each day, it's hard to keep up with which ones are which. And once we get this last piece of trim on, that is it. This is complete. I think it turned out pretty good. Of course, it doesn't, light up real well. I mean, you can't use it as a lamp per se, but it is a cute piece to put on. I got mine on my coffee table, along with my family sign that I did in the last video, which is also black and gold. So I'm just going to turn the lights off so you can see it a little better. You can see how the lights kind of shine through the holes there. And here's some photos of it. Let me know if you might try something like this. The bottom right photo is it in the dark. Again, I'm Liz with Liz's Crafts, and I want to thank you for watching my videos. And if you'd like to subscribe or give me a thumbs up, please do so.